Hey everyone, good afternoon. So, I feel a lot better. I look a lot better than I did the other day. I do feel so much better because I was really had those allergies and they were really getting to me. But now I feel so much better. I'm not sneezing or coughing like I was. My nose still hurts, but that's going to be normal. I do have Carmex here. I'm going to tell you, this stuff really works when it comes to your nose. You just put a little bit on your finger and then you rub it underneath your nose, right where it's sore, and it will heal this up. Carmex is really good on that. It's also good on your lips. I see a lot of people doing lip gloss or something on their lips, but I use Carmex. I don't even like lip gloss. I feel like it's sticky and it's nasty. And this lady, what is she doing? Why is she behind me? That's weird. I want to talk about step parenting. If you're raising your stepkids, it's really not appropriate, I don't think, for them to call you mom. They only have one mom. It could be like they have two moms, but I feel like they should call you by your first name instead of mom when they're little, especially if they're like 3 and 5 and 4 or whatever when they're really little, because they should only call you by your first name. Because I feel like they only have one mom. I have stepkids that I have raised, and I never had them call me mom. It was always Tina, and that was it. Their mom was their mom. And a lot of people that get remarried will say, no, this is your mom, and they'll make the little ones call them mom. And I don't think that's appropriate. I know my daughter gets upset by my grandkids always calling the stepmom mama and in her name, but I think that's inappropriate. I feel like she should be correcting them and say, no, their name. I'm not going to say her name, but her first name. That's how I feel. Because they already got a mama. You're just their caregiver. You're not. A step parent is pretty much just the caregiver. That's it. They're not the mom. I mean, step parents has limitations. When my stepkids were getting their license, I was not able to take them. I took them, and the officer said, "Are you the mom?" And I said, "No, I'm the stepmom." And he said, "No, we have to have their parents bring them in to do license and stuff, because," he said, "you don't want to be responsible for their, if anything happens to, like, get a wreck or whatever." So step parents actually has limitations on what they can do with their stepkids. I raised 5 kids, and I was a stepmother to 2 of them. I never had any of my stepkids call me mom. It was always Tina. It was never that you will call me mom or else. I really didn't care. I pushed the issue, what the step parent should be doing, and this is what I did as a step parent. I pushed the issue of the mom seeing the kids. I pushed the issue of saying, you need to see your kids. Even though she didn't want to, I made sure that she saw the kids. I made a schedule, like every other weekend. They go over there. They spend 1 week at the house and then 1 week with her. I always push that issue because I felt like the mother should be a part of their life. My kids had stepmoms. They never called them mom or anything like that because I was the mom. But the step parent sometimes gets jealous. Sometimes the step parent just has to back away. And I know for a fact, because I've been a step parent majority of my life, and I was a step parent when I was 19 years old, and they never called me mom. They called me Tina, and that's who I was. I was more of a big sister than I was when I became a step parent, I was more of a big sister than I was a step parent, if that makes sense, because my husband was 14 years older than me. And so when I became a step parent, I didn't know what to do. I was 19 years old. Anyway, I had to get this off my chest because a lot of step parents like to act like they're the biological parent and they're not. You do have limitations as a step parent. You don't have the authority to make all the decisions. Now, if they're in your household, you can set the boundaries, you can set the examples, you can actually set your rules. They have to go by your rules. But when it comes to legal actions of anything, you have no rights. And the courts will tell you you have no rights as a step parent. I mean, that's just the way the law works. You don't have all the rights to do a lot of stuff. And I'm going to put my sunglasses on because my eyes, the sun is getting into my eyes. But yes, limitations. You do have limitations when it comes to step parenting. But step parenting needs to realize you're a step parent. You're not the biological mother. You have no decision makings on anything. So other than that, you just have to sit back and relax. Eventually, the kids will see right through the real mother if the real mother is not wanting to see the kids for some odd reason. They will eventually grow up and they will see right through her. So if your stepkids are giving you a hard time while they're little and not understanding, don't worry about it, because eventually they will see that you stuck around. They'll see that you were there for them, and they will see that you were trying your best to do the things that is right. This is what I wanted to rant about today. Like I said, any thoughts that comes through my head, I want to talk about it. And this was one of the things that came through my head, is talking about the step parenting, because step parentings only have certain limitations. And don't worry if the step kids are giving you a hard time at a younger age, because like I said, they will see right through the real mother's actions and everything. My stepson, he's 22 years old now, and I went over there with my husband because his daughter was having a birthday party. And he did apologize to me. He said, I do want to apologize. I did not realize what my mother was doing. And I call her all the time and tell her I'm in town, and she tells me she's too busy. So if that's the case, then that's on her, because she should know, hey, I'm going to go see my son. Should tell her husband, I want to go see my son, and not to worry about it. But they're always busy. So, but that's on her. That's not on him. That's on her. At least he made an effort. Anyway, guys, like I said, I'll let you go and have a great day.